Hello, so I'm going to show you today how we go about analyzing getting the data all together and analyzing it. So this is specifically for the water quality. If you open up the control documents Excel spreadsheet, you'll have your headers. These are important because the data itself does not have it. So you could copy these and you go over to this and you insert a row. So you'll be right clicking here and you insert. I've already done so, which gives me a list of headers in order to do this. So one thing to know about this data set is they did all the analyzing in the same spreadsheet. So you'll have different vinyl chloride, xenolines, lead, TTHM, 240, all kinds of things in here. So if you need to analyze it, you need to figure out what you're analyzing. The easiest way to do that once you figure it out is to filter. So what I did is I hit filter, and this gives me these little triangles that drop down, and then I can go down to analyze name, and I want to click on select all to deselect everything. And then I just click on either go down this list or I type out what I want. I want specifically lead. And then I hit OK. That gives me only lead. So one thing that was interesting to me is when you look at this, you have your concentration, your unit of measurement. So milligrams per liter tends to be parts per million. You want to make sure that you're actually having the right unit. So milligrams per liter is parts per million. Micrograms per liter is parts per billion. And over here is the detection limit. What I did is I did this little bit of code right here. If the value is greater than 0, so basically if you have a detection limit, then I did another if statement. If your concentration is greater than your detection, then it has a violation. I did this so that because to me, you could have a lot of data that just has zeros, and that's not very interesting. So then I copied this all the way down, and what I did at this point is I highlighted everything, Control Shift down, Control Shift left, and I copied it and I brought it into another document and I pasted it. Then I have my data for lead all in one place. At this point you can start actually analyzing. So I did R because it's me and I do R. You could use whatever method you want. So when I looked at this is just how I loaded the data. The first thing I wanted to do is look at outliers. The easiest way for me to look at outliers is to either plot, do a box plot, and maybe a table. So on this one, you see a vast majority of our data is right along here is at 0. Then you have this little upslope and then back down. If you look at the box plot, it does kind of the same thing. The box plot is really skinny at the bottom, but goes up really tall for this one and a couple up here. So we have a bunch of zeros, as you can see from this table. We have out of 1,508 observations, we have 1,059 zeros. That's not very helpful. So I have this little bit of code here that basically gets rid of zeros. You could filter in Excel if you're using Excel or a different program to get rid of zeros. I plotted them again, so let's do this all. And I get, so on the box plot, it's looking better. I can start seeing some separation here. I still have a lot at the bottom, and I have this one right here, way out there, and you can kind of see this on here. So at this point, I can even when I remove all the zeros, don't really get a good picture. It's not something I'd want to put or show anyone. Maybe we can look at a certain threshold. I created that violation, not violation, so I'm going to just separate based on if you have a violation or you don't. Then I run a box plot. Hey, look, that's a lot better. I see this one up here, and I see these two here, and a whole bunch of stuff in the middle. If I take the log transformation, so if I apply a log to everything in there, I can kind of see it more clearly. I have 3 outliers and everything else more or less together. So looking at this, we look at the max of the lead concentration. We have 19.19 parts per million. It's way over. If I went and looked it up, the actionable limit by EPA is 0.015 parts per million. So that's not good. So where's that at? It's the Lakeside Water Company in, Yavapai County, near Fort Huachuca. Nice if you're on the base, right? Quick check on the internet says that they have lead problems in general due to ground contaminations. Probably not something you want to have. If I remove that data point, that's just what this code does. Shows I still have those 2 up here, but most of my data is right down here is below it, and almost all of it is below actionable. So looking at those 3 issues, the sites have other than those, a vast majority of them are fine. So in general, lead is not an issue within Arizona.